Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got singer-songwriter DeeAnn with me. So welcome, DeeAnn.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, I'm so excited to talk with you. We've been talking about the cold weather that we've been having. So we were trapped inside all weekend, and we listened to your music for a big part of the weekend,
Oh,
and it was the best because you've got original songs in there, but you also do some of the classics and do it so well. Absolutely love your
thank
voice. So just thrilled to death that you're on the show.
you. I'm grateful to be here.
Well,
I've
let's
seen I've seen all the people you have, interviewed and some pretty big people. So
Well, thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for
I think you
having me
belong
here.
right up in there.
Thank you.
So let's start this way, DeeAnn. Tell me a little bit about what got you into music. You know, why'd you want to kind of go into a profession that's so difficult? It can be fun, but it's very difficult. So kind of talk
Definitely.
a little bit about what got you into music.
I'd probably blame my father for that. Um, when I was 7, I don't know why, for some reason I decided I was playing in the playground with the kids, and when they used to let you do that, and something, I don't know, I said something like, I want to be a star by the time I'm 8. I don't know where that came. I have no
That's
idea.
pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was giving myself a few months. And then I went into school, and I loved choir, and
Yeah.
I loved harmonies all the way through into high school. Half my classes were musical.
Mhm.
Got to sing in the quartets and
Oh yeah.
competitions and everything. And I loved my choir teacher. He really believed in us,
Yeah.
me or others. Like if we had the talent, he really believed us. He pushed us. And
There's
but my
nothing
dad
better
too.
than a good music teacher.
Oh, you could have a
They
really
really
bad,
can encourage.
yeah, you could have a really bad one, or you could have a really good one. And
Right.
it's funny you're saying that because in middle school, she kind of didn't like me. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I was a young girl.
That curly
Um,
hair.
maybe. So I get into high school, and Mr. Few was his name. He passed a few years ago, and Gary Few. And he said, I was singing, and he said, "What are you doing in the B choir?" And I said, "Because that's where she put me." And he's like, "Tomorrow you're in the A choir." I'm like, "Okay."
You got promoted.
Yeah. And my dad being a singer, always singing around the house, always scatting jazz, always singing. Always wanted to, it was his dream to do something big, but he
Yeah.
was too shy. I am very shy, but maybe not as shy as he was. So I pursued it more, and the more I pursued it, the more he would go, Dolly, you could do this. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. Thanks for giving me the
Well,
talent.
you've done some songs with him in the past,
Yeah,
right?
my first album, I have two cover songs, "Fly Me to the Moon" and "Unforgettable."
Oh, you chose well.
Yeah, well,
Both are terrific.
he kicked ass on him. I'm telling you,
Was
he was
that was desperately seeking DeeAnn?
yes. He was 80 years old,
Oh, wow.
still shy. We went to the studio at the time. I was working with Rashawn O'Dowd. He's a bassist with Brian Culbertson,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Yeah, let's get your dad in here." So my dad needed to bring a little whiskey.
A little courage.
Yeah. So we got through Unforgettable, and he was scared to death. I mean, he did it. But then we tried to do Fly Me to the Moon. And the funny story about that is when we were recording it, he kept getting nervous because the producer I worked with, Rashawn, he changed the whole song. And then my dad's used to like, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Well, it wasn't like that. Rashawn made it more like a whole different style that my dad wasn't comfortable with. So he kept trying to sing, but he couldn't do it. So it was like, I don't know, everyone's getting a little, impatient, a little frustrated. So he's in the back of the room, and we were in the engineering room, and he's in the back, and he just starts pacing back and forth. And he's like, fly me to the moon and let me, and he's sitting there singing. And my producer says, push record. That's how we got it for the beginning of the song.
You had to
So
catch
if
him
you
off
ever listen to
guard.
the yeah, if you ever listen to the beginning of the song, that was recorded when he did not know and he was pacing back and forth.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah,
he's
and we
got
just
a terrific voice.
he really did. He had a great voice.
Yeah, yeah. There's I don't think there's anything better than growing up around musical parents.
Yes.
You just get so much from that creativity wise.
Oh yes. And he would tell me the stories of the different musicians. 'Cause he knew a lot of the history. But
Oh
he
yeah,
hated because I sang pop in the beginning and he
yeah.
hated.
He was waiting on you to get back to jazz. I know.
Oh man. He when I recorded this most recent album, because I really do like different genres. I like some R&B, I like soul, I like pop, I like country.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of a mutt in music. But when I recorded this last album, it's just called It's My Time. Um, I played some of the tracks for him, like they weren't mastered or mixed or anything yet. And I said, Dad, I want you to hear some of these. And we were sitting in the garage, and he was dealing with his Lewy body dementia at the time.
Yep.
So he was getting very sick. And he had Parkinson's, which I heard that
I've got that as well. Yeah.
yeah, I heard you say that.
Yeah.
And so he's still Lewy body dementia. He had his memory, complete memory. He never lost his
Oh, that's
memory
good.
to the very, very, very end. But it's hallucinations. You have a lot of, yeah, crazy stuff that happens. But
It's crazy what goes on in your head when it's not working quite right.
oh, he used to say, he said, Dolly, I'm crazy. I said, no, you're not, Dad. It's the illness. You're still Dad.
Still you.
Yeah. So I was playing him some tracks, and he just I played a couple songs off that album, and I look at him, and he's got tears running down his face, and he said, Dolly, you finally made it. I'm like, okay,
Well,
thanks,
I'm
Dad.
so happy that you were able to play some of it before
Oh
you
yeah,
lost him. That's terrific. Because I
yeah,
know this one, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that. This wasn't like this album. It took a while. You
it did.
started it kind of left and came back, but talk a little bit about it because this one was you had a journey on this album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And actually, my next album, I'm including my son in some of it too.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so yeah, well, we were recording this album, and he said, "What do you want to do?" My producer, and I said, "I want to do some classics." So that's how we started. We started recording in my kitchen in the summertime, like getting arrangements and stuff. Then we started putting some tracks down, and probably 80-90% of the album was done.
Yeah.
And terrible tragedy. I lost my son.
Yeah. I'm so
And
sorry about that. And he was
yeah,
pretty young. That's
he was 23 and uh incredibly smart, gentle soul. Um
was he musical?
no, well, he tried to sing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
have a
had a part
video of him
myself.
singing a Steve Perry song, Journey song.
Well, that's not easy to sing.
No. And he was like belting it at the top of his lungs, and his pitch was pretty good.
Yeah.
But he was like killing himself trying to do it. And it's funny. I love that video. But he uh had a he was a bodybuilder, which
Yeah.
we can go into that at some point. I became a bodybuilder from him.
I thought you had done some.
Yeah,
Do you still do that?
it's all inspired from him.
That's
So
pretty great. Do you still bodybuild at all?
I still train 3 days a week
Oh, good for
with
you.
one of his old trainers. So Aaron Newman, it's a place called Body by Newman, and I was just there this morning. I trained three mornings a week with him.
Oh, that's so great. That's one thing with the Parkinson's I've struggled with because I tend to work out and I'm a runner, but just finding that routine, what I'm able to do, I need more rest breaks. I gotta usually have a day off in between, and that's new to me. I've struggled with that, but
Yeah,
it's such a I feel so much better when I'm working out.
it's it doesn't hurt you at all. That's just
No,
so good for you. Like I will hurt myself, um, like shoveling the snow
yeah,
because you might not be bending your knees or right
right.
or something. But in the gym, I never hurt myself. It's
Yeah, because
amazing.
you're doing it right.
I'll be lifting. I'll bench like 130 pounds,
Yeah,
but I prepared for the everything before I
right.
did the lift, and I have someone that's backing me up and spotting me.
You're not
But
getting trapped under that bar and have to escape.
no, that's a scary thought.
I've had that happen once or twice when I was younger.
Yeah,
You got to kind of roll off of the bench.
yeah. Well, my son, you know, he played baseball. He was a catcher at Canisius High School. It was a private school. But his love for bodybuilding, that's what he really fell in love with. So he went to James Madison University in
Oh yeah.
Virginia in the ROTC program. And he started training there. So then he told us, come to my competition. And I'm like, what competition? So we drive out there. I was like, oh my God, what happened to my son? Like, who are you? And that's when I realized, he had this love of bodybuilding, and
Well,
he
good for
started
him.
getting better and better with it and competing more. But and I'll just say this for a minute, he made a mistake. Well, not a mistake. I don't like motorcycles.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Same. They're
he
scary.
bought, yeah, he bought a crotch rocket. And honestly, I think whoever invented crotch rockets, they should not be allowed on the road. They're very dangerous bikes. They move fast. They're
They're hard
great.
to control.
Yes, they're great for like dirt bike with
Right,
nothing around. So if you crash, you're just rolling through the dirt. And
right.
he had one accident, and that was it.
That's all it takes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I hate to hear that because it happens to so many people, and most of us have had some type of vehicle accident, etc.
right.
But when you're on a motorcycle, you just have no protection.
No, and he used to like he wore I bought him the big thick jacket, and he had the helmet that covered his whole. I
Yeah,
mean, he was real.
he was
He was
careful.
he overanalyzed everything. He was very sensitive, and he observed everything. So for him to get on a crotch rocket wasn't really his
Yeah.
personality, but I guess he had a side of him that liked to do that. So that's what happened. And so I couldn't. Back to the album, I couldn't even sing a note. I couldn't even listen to
I
music.
imagine. Yeah, that would have shut me down for a while, I think.
I think I was planning on shutting down forever after that. And I have to give my producer credit on that because he just kept pushing me. And I kept finding excuses not to. And my
What
son used to
finally
say,
convinced you to go back to it?
well, my son used to say, and I have a plaque with it, and
Oh,
I'm looking right at it, it's in my kitchen. No excuses, mom, just do it.
that's
So
great.
I would say to him, I can't go to the gym because my back hurts. I had two babies and I have lower back issues. I'm older now. I have arthritis. I would come up with all these excuses. And he'd always be like, no excuses, mom. Just do it. And I'd get so mad because I'd be like, you don't understand. You're 20 something, you know? So then I started pushing myself, and then his accident happened, and I wouldn't go to the gym either. Like I didn't want to go anywhere. So as time passed, my producer kept telling me, like your son said, no excuses. He would want you to do this. So I slowly started to get back into it. And then that's when we recorded You Are My Sunshine, because that's the last song on the track, because on the album, because I sang that to him every night.
Yeah, what a great tribute.
Yeah. And
Was it, once you went back to it, was it therapeutic to kind of get back into the music?
back and forth. It still
Yeah.
is back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? And a lot of times I'm like, oh, that's why I'm doing it.
Well, it's all tied up in memories, and it's painful,
Yes.
that. And I'm assuming you're also hitting the gym again.
Oh, I'm back at the gym. Yeah. It took
That's
me
good.
about 6 months, and I forced myself to go. Cried many times, at the machines, and then, and everyone looks like them. So, I mean, there's a lot of young guys in there that look like them.
A lot of fit
And
guys out there.
yeah, and but I just keep hearing them, Mom, no excuses, just do it. So,
I think that's a terrific legacy that he's passed on. And who knows what benefit, working out tends to kind of help you health wise as you age.
oh,
So he may have added, a decade onto your life just
oh,
for getting you in the
absolutely.
gym.
And absolutely, like you said, because you're dealing with your new, the
That's right.
Parkinson's. And I think, well, for dementia, I don't know about Parkinson's, but like boxing and stuff is really good for
I'd
that too.
heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And yeah, I've heard that with Parkinson's too, that boxing is
because
really
you're
good.
physically moving. Look at me, I box a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
You know what you're doing.
you're physically moving, but you're thinking at the same time, and it's the combination of the exercise with the thinking versus like if you're walking or running,
Right. Well,
you're
and
not
that's
really.
where I run into trouble is when I'm trying to do competing things. And sometimes it's just doing something and thinking at the same time. That tends to trip me up. So anything I can do where I'm kind of using a couple of different things is helpful.
Yes.
I got to concentrate to do it, but then at the end of it, I always feel 100% better.
And I think even with music, like playing an instrument and
Yeah.
singing, or just doing one of the instruments, because you're using your mind to constantly
Right.
think what's going on next. So it's all good for you.
Yeah.
But
You're
definitely
exactly right.
look into the boxing.
Yeah, I will. I've heard that before, and boxing stuff I've dabbled with, throughout my life, just working out, as you do.
Yeah, just hitting
Uh,
it back.
but yeah, yeah, and we got bags at the gym I go to. I'm game. Maybe it'll help a little bit.
Yeah,
With me,
I,
it's
I,
mostly on my left side. My right side's still pretty good, but I've got a little hitch on that left side. So if I can get it moving, yeah, I'm in. I'll let you know how it goes.
no, I hope
I'm
it's
gonna
good for
try
you.
it. It's one I've been thinking about for a while. I'm hoping it helps with my balance too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah,
that's where I've
so
noticed. It's my legs. I struggle with with the legs. That's when I first noticed because I run and I started dragging my left leg.
yeah.
So my lower body gives me more trouble. So anything that'll help my stability, I'm in.
And they're constantly doing research on it.
Mhm. Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff coming out. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm so early, in it, that I should be fairly functional for decades yet. I'm hoping,
And
and
you're
by
very
then,
healthy.
hopefully they'll find something else.
Yes, and you're very healthy physically and mentally. You have a great attitude. So all that, and then you work
Yeah, it
out.
should help. Yeah, I'm
That
hopeful.
all works.
So you went back to the album. You had this terrible tragedy. It took you a long time to get back. So this time when you came back, you decided you were going to put some original stuff on there as well.
Well, what happened was, yeah, Here to Stay I put on,
Mhm.
A Little Romance I put on. A Little Romance was just singing to the people that helped me because I
Yeah.
had definitely had some beautiful friends that wouldn't let me be alone.
Good.
So I wrote that one. Here to Stay is basically a love song. You Are My Sunshine we put on. But when I
Hey,
think to,
you are my sunshine. That version, very emotional.
oh,
We
I
can
was,
understand now, but listening to it, when my wife and I were listening to it, it was emotional just listening to it. So it came across.
I probably recorded that 3, 4 months after.
Oh,
And I got done sing, and actually, he put it all together. I just sang it a few times, and he'd say, "Okay, modulate, go up half step," and then I'd sing it. I basically sang it a cappella, and then he put
yeah,
it together, and he arranged the instrumentation around it, which was very subtle
yeah.
and very little. But I got done singing it, and I just sobbed.
I bet.
I was like, I had no idea how hard that was going to be. But I forgot about one little point. Another reason why I got back into it.
Yeah.
Um, I also, and I'm not saying people have to do this, but for me, I needed to have a purpose. I have a daughter. I have a beautiful daughter who's
Yeah.
24 now. But for my son, I needed to do something that had purpose for him leaving because I didn't like that he was, I didn't
Right.
understand why I didn't understand any of it. So in Canisius High School, uh, he was seventh in his class. He graduated.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
pretty
very
good.
smart. And in his junior year, he went on a mission trip.
Yeah.
And he almost didn't go on that mission trip to Nicaragua
Hmm.
because my brother passed away right before he was supposed to leave. And my brother was a sudden loss. He was 55.
Yeah.
And so I was
That's
like,
my age now. So yeah, that's early.
yeah, and his was a heart thing. And so I was devastated over my brother. And I was like, William, you can't go to Nicaragua. You got to be here for your uncle.
Yeah.
And then finally I realized my brother would be so mad at me. So I said, a couple days later, I said, you got to go. Don't worry about
For
it.
you. Yeah.
So he went, changed his life because that's what it does. You're raised in a nice average family income, and you go to nice schools, and now you're in this area where he stayed with this family where it's like a little hut. The bathroom's out in the back. The floor is
Roughing it a little bit.
Yeah, the floor is like dirt in
Yeah.
some of the areas, and they were building a church, and they didn't really have a church. They were building it. So, but their faith was so strong. They were so happy and they had nothing. So he saw like, wow, you know, we work hard and we get paid, a lot of us, for what we do.
Right.
They work hard and they're not really going anywhere. So he saw a
Well,
lot
and their outlook's so much more positive than
better
what we
than
tend to have.
ours. So, um, I had this idea. I said, maybe I'll start a scholarship for him. So then when my producer said, let's do a fundraiser and build this, start a scholarship, all the money that we do for this concert, which was my first concert back out, we'll put it all towards William. I said, but I don't have anything. I don't have anything started. So that pushed me. And I went to Canisius High School and I asked them about putting a scholarship together for him, and I needed to raise $50,000 to get it endowed. And I did that, and we're now at 75,000.
Oh, wow.
And I've sent two boys to Puerto Rico already through Williams Scholarship, and I'm sending my third because it's an all boys school, so I'm
Yeah.
sending my third young man to Puerto Rico again next month. They go in February.
Well, what a great way to honor your son. I love that.
And
I,
so what they have to do, all they have to do is that I ask for in return is just write me a letter when you're done and tell me about your experience. They have to hear why they're getting the scholarship, where it's coming from, William's story, and then they write me a letter when it's done. And those letters are beautiful so far. I've gotten two letters, from two boys that have left, and beautiful.
I love that. What a great
Yeah.
story. Yeah, that's really terrific. Have you ever sung at the high school?
No, it
Yeah,
was really hard for me to even go near that high school
I
after
bet.
that.
I bet.
Yeah, in fact, I don't think I've gone back in the high school. I've gone to the building across to meet with the financial advisor who's been helping me do the scholarship.
Well, yeah, good for you though. That's impressive because it's not. That's everybody is like, yeah, let's do a scholarship. Well, it's not easy. It
No,
takes some work.
and what happened in my situation, and I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anybody. What happened with me is I started to do the scholarship, and all of a sudden I had a purpose.
Yeah.
I got up every day. Okay, who am I going to go ask next? Where am I going to? And I got 10,000. I got 20,000. And around 25, I was like, maybe it's not going to happen. And
Yeah.
my stepmom used to say, be patient, dear. Just be patient. And then it just kept building. And then one of the gyms where my son did his internship, Kenmore Barbell, forgetting the name right now, but and it's like Tonawanda, New York. They did a fundraiser too, and they raised 5,000.
Wow. Yeah.
And then Sportsmen's, where I sing weekly in Buffalo, they're an awesome family, the Hall family. They did a scholarship, and that's where I did or they donated to the scholarship too through my concert. So
That's terrific.
people are amazing.
Well, people really can be if you give them a chance.
Yes,
And I love the fact that he's still impacting lives in a positive way, even
absolutely.
after passing. That's amazing. What a
And
story.
he joined the ROTC because he wanted to help people
Yeah.
and he felt like that was his calling. And so I was like, well, I'm going to help him help people. I'm
Man,
his mom.
good for you.
That's what moms do. That's what we do.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
that's true. Most mothers, especially, but parents, you tend to try to help with whatever your kids end up being interested in.
Yeah.
Kind of put your energy that way. Uh, Good for you though, because it'd been a lot easier in some ways just to kind of curl up and just say, I'm not
It's
doing that anymore.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I tend to want to do that now. Like it's definitely, I have bad days and
sure.
yeah. And then I call my daughter and I say, I love you. And
That's right. That's
she's
right.
like, I love you so much. Her name is Gracie, so she's a
Oh,
rock for me in all of this. And she's gone through a lot, losing her uncle and her brother. So,
does
and her
she
grandpa.
sing?
Pardon?
Does she sing?
She's so talented, but she refuses to admit it. So she started out, seriously, she sings, she dances unbelievable. Like she was a
Yeah.
great dancer all through her childhood. I have all her costumes in the basement. She crochets,
Oh
she
wow.
draws, she paints. Yeah,
So
she's
she's just
very
creative.
she's very creative, artistic, but
Yeah.
she does not want any attention.
Yeah. Well, I get that.
Yeah,
I get
she
that.
told
Well,
me,
you get that. You're shy too. So
"Oh,
yeah.
yeah, well, so is my dad."
Maybe at some point she'll come out. It's hard. I'm an introvert. It was when we first started the podcast, it took me a little while.
I heard you say that, and it made me feel comfortable because I was like, "Oh, good, I'm with someone that gets me."
I get it. I always say that I love talking with everybody, but whenever my day's done and I'm done interviewing, I have to have some quiet time to
Yeah,
recharge. So I always tell my wife that I'm like, we're going to have to sit and watch TV or something for an hour and let me, get out of that. And she's pretty good with that. She's pretty good with that.
yeah, like fluffy stuff. Just watch something that
Yeah, just something light to just get my mind somewhere else, and then I'm
no
fine.
news.
No news.
Don't watch the
Not now.
news.
No news. at least, at least we're past the political cycle for a little while,
Yeah.
but it just wears you out. It's hard on everybody. Just,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I wish they would limit it and be like, you can only spend this amount of money, and they need some guidelines that would just limit
Yeah.
our exposure. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
think
think
it's
that's
going
going
to
to
happen.
happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Do you have a favorite track on this album? I guess it'd
Um,
probably be "You Are My Sunshine," right?
You Are My Sunshine and A Little Romance is one of my favorites.
A Little
Uh,
Romance is a really well done song. I
thank
really
you.
enjoyed. There was let me think. All right. Oh, you do "Killing Me Softly" on there
Oh
too?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like that one too. But I was thinking there was "Writing on the Wall."
Oh, that's a blues one that my producer and Mick Hayes, the singer that's on there, he plays guitar on there too. The three of us wrote that one, and that was actually written before my son, and I released it as a single, but I said I want to put it on the album
Yeah,
too.
it's really good.
It's a that's a great song.
Yeah, that's really really good. Yeah, I was kind of going through your YouTube page and just listening to music, and we did that all weekend. We were working on stuff and just had that playing in the background. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
Are
Yeah,
you?
Little Romance is it's just singing to the people that you know, honestly, my faith was very shaken.
Yeah,
And I'm a pretty strong faith-based person. And as far as religion, I really don't know. I grew up Catholic, but I kind of don't have like a church anymore. I just have strong faith though. So, like the book of Job. So
hmm,
everything that happened to him and he still had his faith. And I was like, wow, now I'm experiencing some of it. And it was hard. I was
tough.
mad.
Yeah,
And then I realized, and this is so important, and if anyone gets anything that's watching this, um, you tend to get mad at God and give up on God during your lowest, saddest points. And that's actually when you have to be stronger in your faith. And
agree with that.
when I was mad and backing off, my pain was worse.
Yeah,
And I got more angry and I hated everybody and everything.
yeah,
And then I realized I don't like being like this. And so I don't know why everything has happened the way it has. I don't know why he's 23 and he's not here.
yeah.
Um, but I'm going to have faith that God knows. And and I know I'm going to see him again.
That's right. That's right.
So that's how I deal with it.
My grandfather was a Baptist minister, and he used to say that all the time. He's like, when bad stuff happens, that's when you need to lean in. He said, but most people tend to hide. You know, they
Because
kind
we
of
blame God.
yeah, because that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And really, if you can just kind of lean in, so much better.
Because it really wasn't God's fault. Like free will, we all have free will.
Right.
And we can't control what people do to us, or we can't control a lot.
We don't have a lot of control.
No, we have control on how we choose to react.
That's right.
And I say choose because I have to choose to be happy, even though I'm not happy a lot over the
Yeah.
loss of my son. But I have to choose to be happy because I also know some people have it way worse. And
Always.
yeah,
Always somebody has
a
it
lot of
worse.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it any easier.
No, 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 no. But
Are
I just
you are you touring at all? I know you do some local stuff. Do you plan to do?
um no, just like a couple hours away. I've done a couple different shows, and
Okay.
it's hard at this time of year because we just did a show that's like 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away at a Beaver Lake nature resort, beautiful area. And the whole time I'm like, God, please don't be snowing like it is today, because it would have turned into a 5 hour ride
Yeah, yeah. Then it's a whole
easily.
day.
Oh yeah. I'm doing local stuff. I do every Wednesday. I do a local gig here in Sportsman's. Sportsman's Tavern is national acts and local acts, and the family is a musical family. So he started it out as this. It's like a little dive with a pool table, and now it's turned into this musical venue that many national acts come through and want to perform at, and it's right here in Buffalo
Amazing.
in the Black Rock area. So I do jazz there every Wednesday with the Joe Baudo Quintet.
Oh, that's terrific.
And yeah, and then there's other places, some really nice places that we do jazz here, and the Colored Musicians Club and PAUSA Art House, and there's there's, some really pretty venues and I do that right now. It took me a while to start getting back into playing again, and I've been pushing myself,
Well,
and
that's good. That's good because
yeah.
you've got such a lovely voice. I think it'd be a shame if you weren't sharing it somewhere. Not necessarily live,
I,
but
my
somewhere.
one bass player who I work with a lot, he does the acoustic bass a lot, and the stand-up bass.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's a shame if you got to get back out. It's a shame if you don't.
Yeah. Well, he's right. Yeah.
I
I,
was actually on the night that this all happened, I was at Sportsman's singing,
oh,
and he was playing bass. And the police came to my door like when I got home, like, half an hour later. So it happened actually while I was on stage working with him.
well, that probably didn't help you to get back on stage.
No, 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 no.
Yeah,
I
I
did
know.
drink a little scotch to get back on for a minute. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a family tradition, though, to get your courage up.
Oh yeah, you watch the Outlanders, they were drinking scotch all the time.
What's the so what's coming next? You've got this album's out. Are you still releasing singles from the album, or are you working on
No, I was on the radio with Neil Sapper, New World Jazz. I got some national radio play. I got some airplay in Canada from Jazz FM 91. They're a big station. Went down there to do a fundraiser with them in the middle of the night one morning. That was fun. Um, and I have country music that I released like years ago that gets like still
Yeah,
some,
I think your country music was really good.
yeah, it still gets some international
Yeah.
play in Europe. But my next album that I'm actually recording, I'm almost done with it. I'm working with a new producer. His name's Ted Perlman, and he's like a legend. He's been
I heard
around.
that name. Yep.
He has been around. He has a story. Sometimes I'm like, Ted, we got to get back to work.
Yes.
'Cause he knows like all the big people, and he has personal stories. And he can't help it. He has to just share the story.
That'd be
If you
hard not
mention
to.
someone's name, oh, well, and then he starts doing that. I'm like, okay, can we get back
You
to
got
the
to get
song?
back to work.
So he's producing this album for me, and it's different. It's jazz,
Yeah.
it's soul, it's R&B, it's blues, a little bit of pop. It's a combination of
Love it.
everything. There's a few originals that he did. There's one, definitely, possibly two originals that we're putting on that we did together. And then there's some cover songs. And when I said I brought my family into it, we took some songs that have meaning, we turned them around, and we added some. He's brilliant with what he did. We even took my dad's voice, "Fly Me to the Moon," and he edited that out of the song, and he put it into this other song that's
I love
an
it.
Elton John song, and it's called "I'm Still Standing."
Yeah.
But we changed it all around, and then that song has all three: my dad, my brother, and my son, because
Wow.
it has well, actually, it has just the two of them. My son's in another song, but we added like some Metallica lyrics to another song, "Meet Me on the Battlefield." I don't know if you know that one. It's
Oh, I do
"Meet
know
Me
that.
on the
Yeah, yeah,
Battlefield."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that song is
Well, I
beautiful.
like it that you're kind of mixing them up. So you're
Yeah,
taking kind of known music, but you're presenting it in a totally different way.
totally different. So we took "Meet Me on the Battlefield." We're singing that. I'm singing that, and then I add the lyrics to my son was a heavy metal
Hmm.
guy.
Yeah. That
So
kind of
one of
goes
the,
with the weightlifting, I think.
yeah, yeah. So one of the one of the songs he did was "Meet Me on the Battlefield" for his first competition.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that song. I was like, what is that song? So I always wanted to sing it. So that song is going to be on the album, but then, and it's more like R&B feel. And
Yeah.
then we added the lyrics to oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the Enter Sandman,
Yeah.
Metallica to the song because that was one of his favorites. So he
Right.
kind of just
Oh.
combined it all together.
Yeah, it sounds very eclectic. I kind of
Yes.
anxious to listen to it. I bet it's awesome.
Yes, I definitely have to put that in the linear notes somewhere, the
Yeah.
story of why these songs are
Oh, you
there.
have to.
And the thing that's sad is like obviously we don't have CDs like we used to, and
Right.
albums are kind of coming back. Well, they are coming back. But like I like when you, and this is where I'm aging myself, is I like when you can get the album and you can read.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to do that when you're on Apple Music or
Right.
Spotify.
I know, and nothing against the streaming music, but I do miss the days where you just had it in your hand.
I miss the days when you drove to the store
Yes.
and you're so excited that the album's on for sale and you got to get there before anyone else gets
Nothing
it.
better than going to the mall,
Oh,
going to the music store at the mall. I love that.
yeah.
Especially when there's an album out that you're really wanting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I miss those days.
I know.
I am
Well,
kind of glad that we're at least getting the LPs back.
we are. And I think the CDs are, I don't think they're gone forever.
I hope not.
Although the cars stopped putting the CD players in there.
They
So,
did. When I first started driving, I was driving a 75 station wagon and had an 8-track.
yeah, that goes back a few
It
years.
goes back a little bit, but we quickly went 8-track, cassette, CD. I mean,
Yeah.
boom. Yeah, it's hard
Oh,
to tell what we'll be listening to down the road.
I have no idea.
Right? It's hard
I
to
can't
tell.
keep up with all of it. I'm trying, but it's crazy.
Any idea when the new album will be out, or is that just something you're still in the work on phase?
Oh no, I'm putting the final vocal tracks on the first week of February.
Oh,
So I was
yeah, that's
recording in
true.
Nashville because he was living in Nashville, but he actually just moved to West Palm Beach. So I have to go to West Palm
That's
Beach
terrible.
the first week of February
I feel
for a
bad
week.
for you.
Yeah, I feel really, I mean, I think it was like 75 there today. So I don't know. I'll deal with it. I'll handle it.
If you got to suffer through it, you'll suffer.
Yeah. I might have to go in the pool. And not the
Well,
one
you have to.
indoors, the
Get
outdoor
your
one.
exercise in the pool while you're down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, that sounds terrific. You'll have to come back when that one comes out, so we can talk
Oh, I
about
would
it.
love to.
Yeah, yeah, we got
You
to
are
do
so
that.
easy. You are so easy to talk to.
Oh, thank you so much.
And listen to. Like I said, I was listening to your stuff and everyone you talk to, they're interesting and they're funny and they're entertaining and you
I,
ask the right questions and
that's so nice of you to say. I really appreciate that because I love to do it, but you never know how it's going to be received. So I hope so. I try to just have a conversation, make someone feel comfortable. We get a lot of people, surprisingly, that they've never done an interview before, and I kind of like those, because it's something that I feel like I'm pretty easy. So if you got a first interview, I'm not a
you
terrible
are.
person to do.
You are. I was my first interview was Jim Masters and he was a lot like you, very nice.
Yeah,
uh,
Jim's terrific. Yeah,
Easy, yep, easy to talk to. And I was nervous. I mean, I always get nervous before him because,
I get nervous
well,
before.
yeah, you're talking about yourself for an hour, like,
Yeah, you would think, because all we do is talk. You would think that it wouldn't be that difficult, but it's hard to talk about yourself,
yeah,
especially when it's not just like a 2-minute conversation. If you're
right.
talking for an hour, you actually got to talk about yourself. That's not easy.
And I played in your state. I think we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so I was in a band called London Fog, and we had this school bus that was like three quarters, not the long one,
yeah.
but not the short one, but three quarters.
The in between one. Yep.
Yeah. So the bass player painted it silver, and then there was big black letters, London Fog. It could only go 45 miles an hour, and it had no heat. And when it was time to
Okay.
go to the bathroom, they would open the door while it was driving. And I'm like, no, dudes, okay, we're pulling over for me. Okay.
Yeah, you got to stop for you.
Yeah. So we went up to we went up to Cape Cod and we went out to Indianapolis, but we went down into West Virginia.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you need to come
Yeah.
back.
And I remember the mountains. It was so pretty there.
Well, it
I
is
don't
beautiful.
remember the name of the place, but I remember how beautiful it was.
Yeah, I wonder where you were. We'll figure it out.
I don't know if it was a hotel. I'd have to ask one of the old players if they remember. I should have recorded that stuff
Yeah, how long ago was that?
a few years ago.
Yeah. A little ways back. Well, DeeAnn, thank you. It's been fun for me too. I've had the best time, and I think your voice is incredible. Uh,
Thank you.
I'm going to send some of your stuff to Landau and let him listen because
I
you were listening to him, and I think he would love your stuff too.
I loved his voice. My dad always used to teach me about singing, and I didn't listen because I knew everything, you know.
Right.
And he was just an older, wiser man with super talent. Why would I listen to him? So he always used to say, Dolly, you need to phrase, you need to articulate, you need to have space. Oh, okay, Dad, I got it. And it took me a long time. So what I liked about him is his phrasing is impeccable. His articulation of his lyrics, his passion. I listened to him sing today. I listened to it when he was competing for first place. There's a video
Yeah,
of
yeah.
him singing, and I can't remember. Was it My Way? Did he do?
I think it was My Way is probably the one you're listening
I
to.
was breaking out in tears.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, if my father heard his voice, he would just, Dolly, that's what I'm talking about. You know,
amazing.
yeah. And I mean, first he starts real sweet and subtle, and then he just started bringing so much passion, and his pitch was perfect. And I was just,
I know. You don't expect it. You see him and you're like, there's no way he can sing, but he can. But yeah, I'm gonna send him your stuff because I think he would really get a kick out of that. He'd
yeah,
like.
send him I took some, send him that one.
Yeah, I will. I will. Yeah, 100%. Before I let you go, where can we find you on social media? And I think you've got a website too, right?
I have a website that does a lot, and it's DeeAnn Music, DeeAnn music.com.
Yeah, it's
And
well done. I was
thank you.
jumping around on there. It's easy to navigate and that's not always
Yeah,
easy with a website.
yeah, that shows a lot of where you can locate me. But on Spotify and Apple, it's just DeeAnn, DeeAnn.
Yeah,
And
and it came right up too.
yeah, and DeeAnn DeMayo is so I kind of like have different names, which is not good. I should have just stuck with DeeAnn, like my producer said. But DeeAnn DeMayo is Facebook and Instagram and
All the
uh,
stuff.
yeah. So yeah, the website does a lot.
It
It
does.
it
Yeah, and
shows
the
you a lot.
website's really well done. And it's important when you're doing stuff with the public. You need a good website. Yeah, it's a good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, we got to do this again. So when you get the next one ready, just reach out. We'll
Oh,
jump
so
on
yeah,
in.
we didn't finish that. So I'm going in February, and after that, it's pretty much mixing and mastering, and we're done.
So it's coming soon.
Yeah, so I actually got to get going on some other stuff with it, but yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's a good one, and I'm excited about it. And again, it's got like that some of the R&B stuff I'm not used to, so that's cool too.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've done about all the other genres. I guess if you wanted to do heavy metal, you could, but you're putting it in there. You're
And
mixing
my
it a little bit.
friend, it's not heavy metal though. It's just the lyrics.
You're right.
Because I remember when I didn't know what he was going to do with that song. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, okay, this is William's song. This is not me. Like, dude, like, how are we doing? How are we putting this in here? And he had all these ideas. And I said, oh, that's great. Like, that works. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
So,
Turned out great.
yeah.
Well, DeeAnn, thank you so much. And definitely anytime, come back. Love to
I
have you.
thank Tom Esty for, bringing me to you. And
He's been terrific.
he's terrific. He's a go-getter. He's relentless, what I need. I like that.
We all need somebody like that.
Yeah. And I would love to come back, but also don't forget your boxing.
Oh, I won't. I'll send you a note. I'm gonna let you know how it goes because I've been thinking about it anyway. I'm gonna give it a go.
Yeah, I read so much good stuff about it, and you seem like you're in such great shape, so I
Well,
think that
thank
would be
you.
awesome for you.
I really appreciate that. All right, hold on one second. Hope you enjoyed that, DeeAnn. Do yourself a favor, go and find the new album, It's My Time. It's been out for a little while. You will not regret it. It is unbelievable. What a voice. And I'm so happy that she came on. She was able to talk a little bit about what she's been through, what she's dealing with. Definitely not easy. The loss of a child is just a nightmare for a parent. So I'm so happy that she's back to singing and that she came on the show. She was terrific. And you can tell she's in good shape. I'm sure she does really well with her working out. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. If you're finding us for the first time, our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us out. Our website is meistercon.com. You can find almost 900 episodes, audio and video, on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there as well. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.